What's up, cuties? Come see my stand-up comedy hour. I am still on tour. I am going to Providence, Rhode Island, October 5th. Chicopee, Massachusetts, October 6th and 7th. That's 4 shows total. Chicago, Illinois, October 19th. Back to New York City, November 11th. There's more dates in 2024, but if you're in that Midwestern New England area, Boston-ish area, come out. I know it's super random cities, but come out. I'll be there. I would love to see you guys. You can get tickets at fumiabe.com. Enjoy the episode.
Oh, I went for acupuncture.
Oh, you did?
Because I was having bad cramps, so they told me to go to acupuncture.
And you went twice, and did you like it?
Then I went on birth control, and then it seemed to fix the problem.
Okay.
But that's what I'm saying. Health is so
tried the Eastern, and
the Eastern didn't work. They gave her needles, and she's like, "No, I think I want medicine."
Give me the fucking pills.
Welcome to Cash Cuties,
a super personal podcast where we analyze your finances and get really dirty with it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Coming to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this on your podcast or Apple Podcast app, please leave a review, hit follow on Spotify, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for the video version of this podcast. All the links are in the episode description below.
Yeah. Quick shout out to our dono daddies.
Oh, yeah.
Christopher C.
Christopher C, $5.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Yvonne, $10.
Thank you so much.
Hot stuff.
Hell yeah. If you want to shout out on this podcast and help us pay for some of the things that we do for this podcast, it's a goddamn free podcast, y'all. So if you want to support us, go to patreon.com/cashcutiespod. In exchange, you get a shout out and you get some bonus content on Patreon.
Hey, gifts is a love language.
Hey.
Money is a love language, honey.
Love us. Love us. You know what I want to talk about today? I didn't get to hear this last time, but you know why I went to New York, right? I went to New York for a little bit, and I did something just kind of on the fly that I thought you would kind of you would roll your eyes at. Oh. So I like to book my flights separately, like going there and going back. Like instead of buying round trip all at once, I like to do it separately just because like sometimes my schedule changes. And on the way back, I'm looking at this calendar grid and it tells me like when is the cheapest time to buy a return flight from New York to LA, right?
Southwest?
And
Google.
It's just Kayak. It just has like a calendar.
Yeah.
And I saw that on 9/11, it was like $75 cheaper.
Yep.
I bought that shit, bro.
You did it?
I flew on 9/11.
Are you not superstitious?
I am, but I love a deal. I love a deal, dude. I just did it.
I couldn't do it. I looked at some tickets around that time as well, and I noticed all the flights are cheaper.
On
all of
9/11.
them. Yeah. I got so many emails from Southwest, like, Sale $49, go to New York. Seriously,
they're trying to make 9/11 sound sexy. Come to New York. It all happened.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
that's so funny for people to set an email marketing thing, be like, come over to New York on 9/11.
Jeez. Rest in peace, you know?
Rest in power.
Rest in power. Yes, dude. I had another friend who said that she went to Europe exactly on that date.
On 9/11?
Exactly, because she saved like $150. That's a lot of money.
God, it was like significantly cheaper. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, oh, that's an Uber ride. I can take an Uber now from the, and I didn't do that. I ended up taking a public bus to my friend's house. But bro.
That's great. That's great. I'm glad you saved money where other people were a bit in pain.
Well, it's interesting. 9/11 is like a tough day for, a lot of Muslims and brown people because they still get that hate, but and I feel that. But kind of an interesting day for an Asian person who likes to save money. You know what I'm saying? 9/11 is a conflicting day for me.
You Cash Cuties, would you guys do the same?
Would you buy on 9/11? Context, it's been 20 years. Okay, I'm not doing this 9/11,
do you
2002.
Think it's problematic that FUMI did this? Let us know. Let us know in the comments.
Oh gosh. What's like we had that one episode we talked about socially unacceptable ways to save money. Do you have something like that you did recently? How was your 9/11? I never asked you that. I'm sorry.
I can't really remember. Like, I have to look into my calendar to actually figure out what I did exactly that day.
Yeah.
It's not do you think about that day in that way where it's just like obviously it's memorable.
It's been 20 years, but
I did nothing.
You did nothing? Paid
my credit card. That's just a reminder. I probably didn't even do it.
My parents got married on 9/11. You know, it's crazy. It's crazy. And they didn't tell me that was their wedding anniversary until it was after 9/11. And I remember I asked them once when I was older, because I was like 13, and I was like, hey, how come, when's your wedding anniversary? Like, I feel like a lot of my friends at school talk about it sometimes. Like, their parents, and I never hear you guys talking about it. And they were like, it's not 9/11.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a little weird. Is
it weird? Whose fault is that?
That's a hot day. I mean, like, are they celebrating? Or are they feeling?
I don't think they are.
I mean, they can't take advantage of these flights.
They could go somewhere.
There's probably discounts in other places as well.
Oh my gosh. I bet any day that something bad happened, if you go to that city on that day, it's cheaper. This is an awful topic, but if you wanted to go to Boston.
I like that we are not moving away from this topic, and like we're still
we're
sitting
doubling down. We're doubling down.
Okay, I'll tell you what, for my birthday, I created this. Have you seen like those viral videos that go around about like free things you can get on your birthday?
Oh yeah, like Starbucks, McDonald's. Yeah.
I'm a little ashamed to let anyone know that I did
love this. You did this? I'm so proud of you. Tell me. Screenshot this to me so I can put it on the thing.
I didn't. I wrote the day. I wrote the companies. By the way, I signed up for all these companies like a week before the reward, because I found out, I saw that viral video. And then I couldn't do everything on the specific day because I hung out with my mom. So I wanted to know, when does the item expire? Because I want that Wetzel pretzel, right? Like, I want that.
So you're saying you can get free things on your birthday even if it's not on your birthday?
Yes. They have expiration dates for the coupon.
What does 30 mean?
So you have 30 days within the day of my birthday to get a 25%. The 17th. I didn't even get a text from you.
The 17th.
What were you doing that day?
Oh, yeah. Oh no, I didn't.
Did you even message me on Instagram?
I don't know what it was. I don't know what it was. You didn't tell me.
Yeah, I did. I literally, we have record of our last episode where I talk about. You
didn't say
what
17th,
I'm gonna
though.
do.
You're like, I might go see Usher in Vegas.
I said this weekend. Cash Cuties. Is he a good friend or bad friend? Does he need a spanking?
This is okay. Go ahead.
You can make it up for me because it's the whole month,
honey.
Okay,
take you to Krispy Kremes, whatever. Okay, walk me through this.
Wait, you're going to take me to Krispy and use my coupon?
Yes. And I'll eat some of your donut.
Do they give you, they used to give a dozen apparently. They only give you 3 donuts for free.
Okay. Well,
Benihana's is the thing that I've always done every year. So we only read you the places.
Well, this is so fun to our listeners because this is something I would do, and I'm obsessed right now. So I want you to walk me through brand, how many days, and what do you get?
Okay, Camper
is the
shoe
brand.
company.
Yeah,
yes.
Spanish
I'm glad you know that.
Yeah.
Fashion boy.
They were cool back in the day.
30 days, you get 25% off.
That's amazing.
That's great.
That's a lot.
Auntie Annie's is my favorite.
Hilarious.
14 days.
Yeah.
And you get a free damn pretzel. I'm curious if I get a flavored pretzel because
you gotta get a cinnamon sugar. That's the way to go.
Oh,
that's
no!
The one.
You did
that's
the sweet.
The one.
No.
What? You get the cheese one?
I get the jalapeno cheese, and then I also have to get the dipping cheddar sauce.
This is insane to me right now. I don't have time to get into this, but I'm gonna have to spank you later.
Wait, what?
Who goes to Auntie Anne's and doesn't get a cinnamon? That's the thing.
No, that's disgusting. They're taking they're probably for yours. They're taking the stale ones and then putting cinnamon all over that shit.
Why? Okay, I don't know why they would do that. Keep going.
I mean, it's similar to like a
Oh, I thought that said Porsche.
What would they give us at a Porsche?
Like a free pan or something. Yeah, they can't.
There's some Porsche socks.
They give you a free tire.
There's some socks.
There's some socks.
Oh, it's some branding on it.
Poor piece of shit.
You still have to pay $5, but it's only $5 instead of $50. Parade underwear, $7. Oh, so you get 7 days. You get $20 off. Okay, can I tell you the worst one I got was from Dunkin' Donuts. They just offered me 3 points on any purchases
instead of 1.
No, instead of anything. Something like
wait, I think this is Tori.
I was like,
hold on.
Yeah, I think it is because they're knocking. And then Cinnabon. My literal favorite is I have until. Did it expire? No. I have 4 days.
You have 4 days.
But they don't give you a fucking Cinnabon. They give you a coffee, which is delicious.
That's
the
fine.
chilada.
That's
I'm
fine.
down for that.
Yeah.
Krispy Kreme. I already told you. Airy. Okay. Sushi. No, Susie cakes. Susie cakes.
Okay.
5 off 10.
Was it 5? What does that mean? 5 off?
$10 worth of Susie cakes.
$5.
So I have to spend $10.
And you get $5 off.
I get $5 off.
Okay.
Raw sushi, which I thought was a hot place, but there is none. They've all permanently closed.
Yeah.
That gave me $20, and I don't have to purchase anything.
Now, have you used any of this yet?
No.
But this is exciting.
This
for you.
is my excitement
That's amazing. No,
I used my Victoria's. Oh no, that's not even part of the birthday deals. These are the ones I want to do.
Okay, so which ones are you gonna do like soon?
I'm definitely doing Auntie Anne's and Susie cakes, and fuck, I know I have to do Benihana's every
I'll
year.
go with you. Let me get on this $30.
Dude, you're so cheap. You're so cheap, and you're also choosing the one Japanese place.
It's not really Japanese. It's not like
Tell Steve Aoki that.
Oh yeah, his dad invented it or whatever the fuck.
What do you
right?
mean it's not real Japanese because he's too Americanized?
No, it's like, to me, that's like Panda Express.
So do you still not like it?
I haven't been since like
Wait, have you been to Benihana's?
Not since like 2007.
What is wrong with you?
Because in New York we don't
eat Korean food. You don't have Benihana.
We don't go in New York.
Yeah, they do. I've been with people from New York.
We don't go, like regular people don't go to Benihana's or like Olive Garden in New York City.
I've literally gone with New Yorkers to both those places.
But that's like, you go as like a joke. You go like, haha, we're going to Benihana's.
You're a joke.
You're legit
Your
getting
whole
upset.
life is about jokes. And then you just said Benihana's is a joke. You're dead to me now.
Okay, guys. Well, wish Steffi happy birthday. Let her know about other things she can get within a 30-day span of her birthday, which was September 17th, which is a date I knew about. And today, we have a friend today we're very excited about, so we'll get to it in a second. And
we're making her stay outside.
She's literally waiting out.
She's waiting
at the door.
Go get her.
Okay.
All right,
bye.
I'll go get her.
Oh my gosh. Our guest today, I am so excited to have her. I met her a long time ago, back when I was a little open mic boy. I actually met her selling tickets to comedy shows on McDougal Street.
What do you mean selling tickets? What's that mean?
You know, have you ever been in New York and there's people who are like, free comedy show?
You did that?
I did that with her. I met her there. So I've known her for like, God, almost like 10 years probably.
Oh my God.
It's crazy.
Wait,
She
why
looks
are
the
you
same,
guys
by the way.
doing that? Like, is
For
it like
stage time? Because we weren't good
they give you stage time as long as you work for the
exactly. We weren't good enough to do it
For free.
For free. So I met her through that on McDougal Street. She also, when I first moved to LA, she was here and she sustained me through my depressive phase.
That's a good friend.
She's a stand-up comedian with a new special out on the 800-Pound Gorilla YouTube channel called Prettiest Girl at the Special School. Give it up for the amazing Tori Piskin.
Yay!
Hello.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
I listened to a few of your episodes with your mom, the podcast. That was another thing we didn't intro her with. Is the special?
Are you still doing that?
I do it. Yeah, I just like stopped putting work into it, if that makes sense. Because it was just like, I do a podcast with my mom. It's called Got It From My Mama. And she just, it's doing like anything with your parent is like, imagine like explaining how to like set up a Zoom mic. It's just like impossible. And she's like, and she like really loves it. So I almost feel like I'm giving back to her. Does that make sense?
She likes the mother-daughter time.
Yeah, and like, but people really love her. Like people like DM her rather than me. She has like all these friends. She's like a huge community because of the podcast. And she's like, oh my God, Tracy is so sweet to me. She DMs me. She's from Ireland. We got to go to Ireland. We got to do a show in Ireland.
And she like, randos will message her and she'll think they're her friends. Is that what, does she become really close friends with them?
No, she's really close to people from the podcast.
Yeah.
But she also, one time she had like a celebrity DM her from like, it was clearly a fake account. From Blue Blood. Do you guys know that show on Netflix?
I do, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah,
okay, well, some guy on it DM'd her, and he was like, "Hi, I have to DM you from this like, it's my private account, and like you're so beautiful." And my mom wrote back, "But aren't you married?" And then she went like weeks with like messaging him thinking she was having some like affair with this actor. And I think she told my dad, and they've been married like literally like over 40 years. He's like, I don't care. What is she gonna run off? Have her, take her. I don't want her. Oh my God. And so my mom like literally thought she was having this like Instagram affair. So my mom she knows how to like post on Instagram and interact, but she doesn't know how to like avoid hackers. And she's had people take over her account. So yeah, we still do the podcast.
I listened to the last one. She was like, I thought it was really endearing because like doing any sort of work with your parent, to me, I was like, oh my God, she's doing, and you're not even getting like, you're not showing any frustration. Like if my mom was literally like had a lollipop or candy in her mouth, which your
Mom did?
Yeah.
multiple times after the candy was finished.
Yeah.
I'd be like, Mom, but you were like, okay, this is her. And I was like, is that just are you guys just like understand? Because you guys are like 170 something episodes.
Yeah, we have like 170. So I
Yeah.
guess like the past 8 months, I just started doing every other episode instead of like 4 times a month. It just became too much, and we don't live in the same city, and it's like so much work. But I do think it's still like is important to do. And like I said, she really likes doing it.
Yeah.
It feels like my version of like cooking her dinner. You know what I mean? As an adult, she
yeah.
like loves doing it, and she's really good at it.
She's
like
so funny.
She really knows how to like retain so much information about celebrities that
Yeah.
like I don't know, or she knows information about celebrities.
She
because
knows
she's
about
just
their
older.
life. She knows
Yeah.
about like literally who they've married, where they live.
Yeah,
She's
just like a Yenta,
she's so
which is just
funny.
like a Jewish name for like a gossiper, like a amongst the town. And she always has like crazy stories. Yeah, I do get frustrated with her. And then she'll do this thing like recently she got like Botox and it made her lip like paralyzed, but she said it will go away. But then on the podcast, she was like, I don't want, let's not talk about my lip. Let's not talk about it. And she'd be like, can they see me? I'm like, no, we don't do video anymore. And she's like, I don't want to talk about my lip. Can they see my lip? I don't want to talk about my lip. And I'm like, I don't know. We get into a lot of fights though on the podcast.
So like,
It's so cute.
when
I
you
love
have a project with your mom, you know, I know that like you're doing it a little less frequently, but like when there is like a sponsor or like money stuff, like how does that even work? Do you split? Because I can't imagine. It's a little bit easier to do business with your friends because you can be like, oh, let's do it this way. We have these expenses, but with your mom, if it's family, is that a conversation awkward?
No, I mean, me and my family have a very odd. It was funny, like as you were sending me the questions about money, I was thinking about like, oh, like what is like my definition of money with my family, and it's very like. I don't know if it's like culturally very Jewish or just like my family, but we're very like open about money. My parents are very giving, which is so great. But then there also comes a lot of consequences if you're willing to take the money from your parents.
Ooh, like what? Like what?
Like if you're willing to have your parents, like, you know, if they are willing to like help you with buy a house someday, then it's known that they can come over whenever they want. Or I already have a very close relationship with my parents. But I think there is that thing where like if you're letting them do that, there's this unspoken rule that like they then are like a big part of your life and you can't really shut them off.
You're paying for inconvenience at the end.
Yeah.
Really,
Yeah.
that's the return.
Yeah, it is a return.
Yeah.
How do you feel
They
about
know
that?
what they're doing.
They know what they're doing, those fuckers. They're like,
Sorry, I just want to make sure. Okay. Good.
yeah, they're like, oh yeah, we'll help you buy a house. But then like, she'll be like, well, what do you mean I can't come over for dinner? Okay, that's fine, whatever, I'll be dead. But you know, you got your house, whatever. It's fine. You got your house, what do I say? No, it's good for you. No, but yeah, my parents are like, oh, it's splitting money. Like if we get podcast ads, my mom's like, you take it. Or one time she had someone wanting her for like an Instagram ad for hair, like older woman. And they like sent me an email. She didn't end up getting the campaign, but my mom was like, you take it, you take the money. Like
It was
that's
her
really
hair
nice.
they wanted,
Yeah.
but
it was her hair. No, my family's very, very giving, but again, there's a lot of comes I don't know if consequences is the right word.
No, I think that's the
Yeah,
right word. I mean,
okay.
there's strings attached to it.
Strings attached.
Strings
Right.
Yeah.
And it's not always a
attached.
bad thing. Like it's not like you're borrowing money from the mafia and they're gonna break your
No.
kneecaps. But it means like they can call you all the time.
Oh, they
or
can interfere about
demand
your
things.
relationship. They
Yeah,
can like
yeah.
say like, oh, you should do this, or like, so yeah, I think
They have a say in your life.
they have a
because
big say in your life.
Ooh, you ever think about that?
I think that tends to probably happen to people. Like we don't know that experience necessarily, but I think that
I think because of that reason, I don't take money from my. Not that I need it at this point, but like I'm always hesitant to ask for stuff because that means they become an investor. You know,
Right.
in
that's
your life.
interesting. My mom. Okay,
Yeah.
so my mom, I feel like it wasn't even about the money. It was more just like I raised you, so this is why you need to give back. Without her actually saying it,
Right,
it's more
right,
about the
right.
raising. But I'm like, bro, you're the one that gave birth to me.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's the return. But I don't know about the financial part. I don't know if I've ever actually taken like chunks of money from her to
Yeah,
even
but you
like.
actually you give them money.
Yeah.
So you ever feel like they owe you something?
I did become like that father, like at one point when I was resentful for doing it, because
Yeah.
I was like when I'd broken my leg and I didn't know what the hell I was doing financially.
Yeah.
Because I thought my bill for the leg was going to be like $60,000,
It could've
Yeah.
been. Yeah.
which that's what the hospital was like. Hey, it's $60,000. I mean, I
Right.
got
Yeah.
insurance to cover part of it. but-
Yeah.
at that time, I remember like literally being like, I used to always have to go to her house all the time because I felt out of guilt I needed to hang out with her.
Yeah.
But I'd be like, somehow I'd be like, well, I'm paying for these things, so I
Oh,
just
you're
became.
doing that. You're
I
doing
started
that.
doing like
Yeah,
what
yeah,
the
yeah,
You're
yeah,
like
yeah.
an angry husband.
Yeah,
You're
the
like, where's my
husband.
dinner?
Exactly.
Yo, just getting drunk, flipping tables. What the fuck is this lasagna?
You're like hobbling in with your foot. You're like, oh, this is where my money's going to? The fucking curtains? Okay. From Crate and Barrel? Okay.
She's wearing a white beater for some reason. She has a mustache.
My cats literally have like my mom's cats have like fucking little cars. Like they have like toy cars. Like you know how like kids have little cars?
Yeah.
She buys things like that and like couches and like
And
little.
you hated that. You hated seeing
No,
that.
I'm like, yeah, I guess I'm jealous
At
of
the
my
time.
cat.
Oh, God. I love that.
But yeah.
Anyways, back to you, Tori.
Yeah. But I think the thing is, like, my mom would never say, like, you spent my money doing this.
Right.
But I also don't really ask my parents for money. They just, like, when I mean they, again, for larger things, they said, like, they're willing to help. But my mom does this thing where her love is gifts.
Yeah.
So she'll criticize you to, like, the T and, like, oh my God, your face looks bloated and you got acne. But then she'll send you, like, a lot of clothes.
Yeah.
That's her way of, like, showing love. So is it, like, it is nice that sometimes I just get, like, random clothes in my mailbox, but then I also have to, like, listen to her, like, criticize me and like interfere with my life and my career. So is it worth the $300 jeans? Absolutely. It is worth the $300 jeans today.
Is there anything like culturally, like, you know, you talk about being Jewish a lot of in your act.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, like, just generally speaking, you know, is what is sort of the New York Jew specifically take on finances and money? Because, you know, we have a lot of different Jewish friends, and obviously we have the ones where like they're super rich and they're very frivolous, but I also have the ones who have a lot of money, but they're also sort of nickel and diming you for every little thing, you know?
Yeah.
What was your experience like growing up with that?
I mean, I don't know if my household was like the best example of a Jewish household, but my dad, I think, was very frugal, and my mom has no concept of money. So I was always very confused, like, how much money we had, because my mom would be like, or my dad would scream from his office, like, we're broke, we have no money, Lauren, you're spending. And then my mom would be like, we're poor. Like, she would turn to me, she's like, we have no money, we're broke. And then, like, Prada would call and be like, oh, I have that leather jacket you wanted on hold. And she's like, all right, I got to go downtown to Soho, Jay. Can I have your credit card? So I just had, like, no concept. And my mom, I'll never forget, like, I really was, like, 5 or 6. And my mom was always, like, in the this is when we lived in Long Island before we moved to the city, and she'd always just be like, we're broke, we have no money, your father's upset, he's cranky, he's not doing well at work. And so I really didn't understand, like, I was so confused because I always got nice things, not like over exaggerated. We never really went on like crazy trips. I would say my mom, like, we had nice things. It wasn't over the top, but then there was a lot of fighting about money.
Amongst them.
But then I would hear.
Right.
It was like I would hear a lot of it.
Did you feel guilty? Like, or did you get things like that you wanted? Like, you're at a toy store or whatever, or like how did that work out for you?
Yeah, I mean, I always got what I wanted, but I don't think I was also like spoiled. I never was like throwing like a tantrum. I think the first time I realized that I was in like a different class than these like other Manhattan girls was I was at this store. It's called Lester's. It was a very popular store for like, I don't know, girls in New York City or whatever. And I wanted to get this Lacoste shirt, which was $200.
Yeah.
And I was like 13 at the time. Like, do I really need that? But I really wanted it because all the other girls had it. And my dad was on the phone like screaming to my mom like, no, she cannot wear a $200 shirt. Absolutely not. And my mom's like, Jay, it's back to school shopping. She needs to wear a collared shirt for the school, okay? And I remember like just feeling uncomfortable that this fight was happening. But then in the end, I did get the shirt. I guess what I mean by I think there's always a lot of fighting around money.
Did you feel like you knew where you stood financially in terms of like where the rest of your friends were?
Because you grew up in Manhattan, right?
Yeah.
You talk about Manhattan rich girls, that's a new fucking level, right?
Yeah, Manhattan rich girls. So
what is that like?
Well, my school was like funded by the state. So it was because it was a school for people with dyslexia or whatever I'm saying. Okay. But it was funded by the state. So basically it was like a public school. But then when I would do like after school activities, like a swim team or whatever, those girls, my friends were like going to Chapin and Spence, these like private schools, and they were like so wealthy, like houses in the Hamptons. Like I knew they were wealthy if they had like stairs in their apartment.
In New York City.
Yeah.
In New York City.
I was like, oh, these people, this is like a different level of rich. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was very comfortable. I always, even though my parents were fighting about money, I always got things I wanted. I was very comfortable. Like they always gave me money. I had babysitting jobs, but it was never this like pressure to go out and get my own money as a teenager. But these other people, there was a certain group of rich kids in New York. And at the time, I would just stalk them on Facebook. And there was this one kid, I mean, I think he's, whatever, I'll say his name. He doesn't know me. Andrew Warrant, I think his name is. But he's like this.
The whole name. You could have just said Andrew for the story.
But I would stalk him and I thought he was so cool. And he was hang out with these like all these other kids that were like very wealthy in New York. And I would just watch them because I thought they were so cool, and they were going to these like nightclubs.
Yeah, what are these kids doing with that money?
Nightclubs.
And like, going to clubs at like 15.
Yeah, but I was like weird. I was like in my room making like videos. Like I wasn't like the typical New York City girl. Sometimes I would go to parties, but I was like not those people. I was intrigued by them, and I would stalk them on Facebook, and I would see them sometimes at these occasional parties I would go to.
Is he like I imagine like some sort of like finance bro?
No, now he's like a fashion kid.
Yeah, these kids don't go to finance because they have money. You know what I'm saying? I feel like people going to finance. People going to finance are the ones who are like their parents are immigrants or like their parents are middle class and they're like, I want fuck you money because my parents didn't give me fuck you money. If you already have money, you're not.
You become an artist.
You do like you open up
you
a
open
little
up your own
skateboard
fashion
shop.
line.
Exactly.
And then like somehow you already are in like Vogue. It's like, how did that happen?
Yes, you're already like on some sort of like top 10 women.
Yeah,
so you're like, what do you even do? You know, 100%. Yeah, they skip all that shit. Yeah.
I mean, they still go to like college, but they all go to like, I would say the same college, and they end up like marrying amongst their.
Of course. Also,
what's a school that they would like? What's a typical school that these Manhattan kids would go to?
I think what's that school in George Washington?
Oh, that's like the most expensive college in America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
George Washington, I think most of them, or BU.
Can you imagine going to college without really worrying about careers, right?
Yeah.
You know, because we go to college, you're like junior year, senior year, you're like, okay, now I got to intern, now I got to figure out what I'm going to do. But if your parents are rich, you just sort of learn and hang out and just enjoy whatever is at BU, I guess.
I'm really fascinated with this like New York. Like, because I've always like, if I get married, I want to be able to live in like different places and also raise a kid and like at an international school or somewhere kind of like very cosmopolitan where I imagine like New York City would be like the
right.
But like, how are the kids gonna come out? My reference is Gossip Girl.
You send them to an international school. That's $40K a year. You know what I mean?
Like, they had them in New York. It was called.
There's like a French school in New York.
Oh yeah, Lee Francais.
There's like a French one.
That was like the hot school.
They
were just like French, and all the guys are hot. One time they peed in our locker room.
They were French kids.
Yeah, because they were mad,
and that was hot.
Yeah, kind of.
Like that's so European.
Yeah, they were mad. We like beat them in basketball, so they like peed in the girls' bathroom. They're like, fucking dyslexic people.
Oh, they came to your special school and did that.
Yeah,
that is a hate crime.
Yeah.
But the girls didn't care. They're just like,
I was like,
God.
Smells good in here.
Can I ask you about the special school? Am I gonna get canceled for saying that? What is the right way to refer to this?
Learning differences now. Back then it was called learning disabled.
Learning disability school.
Now they've changed it.
And it's who's in there? Dyslexic people. Who
ADHD.
else is in there? ADHD.
Kids who had like, I would say like on spectrums at some points.
Now, because it's New York City, are some of these kids like rich?
Well, the thing is, now it's not funded by the state, but back then it was funded by the state, which means you had to get a lawyer to prove that your child has a disability. Therefore, you get the school for free. But there were some cases, I don't know why the parents actually gave money. So maybe out of like 36 kids in the grade, 2 of the kids actually paid the $60,000. I don't know why.
$60K a year.
Yeah. Now it's a really like exclusive school. Like Kelly Ripa's son goes there or used to go there. At my point when I was there, like the celebrity was like James Gandolfini's son went there, but he was much younger than me.
That's
and
cool.
Kevin Bacon's son went there. I remember my mom was like he was like 5 years older than me, and my mom was like, "Oh my God, Kevin Bacon's like, go flirt with him." I'm like, "I'm literally 10. He's 17, and he's like this punk guy." She's like, "Go talk." And we had like these, school events to raise money, like some carnival. And my mom was like never the mom to come to any of my school events. And then she shows up to this carnival,
dress in fur.
Yeah, no, she like literally like went to go scout out Kevin Bacon, and I'm forgetting his wife's name, but she was like, they were handing out the tickets. I mean, they were smart trying to get, Kevin Bacon to like, show face.
Yeah,
and my mom was like, "Oh, your kid goes? My daughter goes here."
Maybe they can hang out sometime, even though she's 11 years old.
So
That's great.
But yeah, the school, so I think going there was helpful in terms of like, one, I was never really bullied for being dyslexic because I was at this school and everyone had something. And two, I never really felt less than in terms of like my economical status because we were all kind of in the same boat. So there weren't like these extravagant rich kids at my school.
Wow.
Can I ask you, because now you gave us like a background about your family and how the relationship with your mom and your dad about money. You are now, this is kind of a two-part question. You were dating in LA a little bit, and I know you were struggling with that a little bit, but now you are dating somebody long-term
It was
boyfriend.
really hard for you.
It was hard for her. I was there. It was hard for her. That's fair to say. It wasn't her fault. It's just all these LA fuckboys. But now you're with somebody for a long time. And you live together. You just moved in together. Now, how is that working out? Like sort of financially, because you got to talk about money when you live together,
Yeah.
And do you ever catch yourself being like your mom, like you're taking his credit card and buying some shit, or like
totally.
hiding things.
And I have to like not check myself, but here's the thing, my relationship, I mean, we split rent, but in terms of like, my boyfriend's very generous in terms of like taking me out and like, but I think it's not, my relationship is not what my parents' relationship is going to be. You know what I mean? And I have friends that want that relationship. And I guess I made a decision at one point where I was like, to me, like, that's not exactly what I want, even though that's the life I'm accustomed to or used to living. But I think for me, I always wanted someone who was very creative. That's like, you know how some girls are like, I love a guy in like an army suit. I'm like, ooh, I love a guy who's like a writer or producer. That to me is like so attractive. And so, I guess I just made a decision to be like, okay, I want to date someone. What's important to me is someone who's like very driven in their work.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And sweet to me and kind and willing to help me. And I think like that's really what I found. And I don't know if you can really find a guy who's going to financially support you and then also like help you write your like funny Instagram captions. I don't know.
You gotta pick.
Yeah, you
want
gotta
the funny
pick.
caption or do you want the Porsche? You gotta pick.
Yeah.
You know what? I mean, I totally understand. I'm trying to date too, so in LA, and I find
socks off. So, okay.
Yeah, it's totally. You can hide it.
Well, I didn't want it to be on the camera.
It's on the camera. I'm gonna zoom in. I'm gonna zoom in. Who do you think edits this? I'm zooming in.
A secret.
But I think also when you're in your...
I'm happy for you though that you found somebody here in LA. Did you do it through the apps or was it through...
we met on Hinge 2 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, there's
I have some hope here.
But it's hard to find someone. It's funny because money is a thing that you like talk about in relationships. I never really, before my boyfriend now, I never really like had someone I saw like a future with. So we never talked about it. I also used to go for guys that like weren't that successful in their careers, but they still could help me write my Instagram captions, but they weren't like successful in their careers.
This is all so relatable right now. This is exactly my...
Because I used to date these my ex in New York, FUMI, you know this. So I used to date this like skateboarder
guy.
And he lived in Chinatown in a 7th floor walk up. And my 27-year-old mind was like, I'll live there. Why not? But I was so like in love and like, I just didn't. And he also was like, he wanted to one day like own up like a wood shop in New Jersey. And like, I just didn't think about like, my future wasn't on my mind when I'm 27. Just like the fact that he had like a tight ass and like cute blonde hair was on my mind. You know what I mean? Like your perspective changes. And like if I talk about it now with my mom, she'll be like, no, you were fucking delusional. No way you were living in a fucking 7th floor walk up in Chinatown. You know what I mean? Like, but you just don't think about those things. And I think that's why dating when you're 30 is like actually so much better, unless you're someone in your 20s where you like grow with the person.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I think like what I was attracted to wasn't really necessarily like what was going to be the best partner for me in the future.
Yeah. Yeah. You have time to kind of fuck around when you're younger.
Yeah.
You don't have like all these like goals that you need to meet and like these serious options that you have to think about, because if you have kids with them or if you're gonna move, you know what I mean? Like it's different. So I totally understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Did your parents ever, like, we talked about this on the last episode, did they have any expectations for the kind of guys you were bringing home? Because from what I remember, they've always been very supportive of your boyfriends, even the skateboarder guy.
Yeah, they loved him.
And I wonder if that was just because you were simply 26, and you know what I mean? And they were just like, whatever. I don't know if they would be down for that now.
Yeah.
But I wonder, you know, your boyfriend now can I say he's a ghostwriter?
Yeah, just don't say his name.
I'm not gonna say his name.
I don't know.
Right. He's a ghostwriter. That's his profession.
Yeah, he's a ghostwriter.
Right? He writes books for other people.
Right.
Very smart, right? And so I wonder, like, you know, have you noticed anything in the way that they reacted towards him versus your other boyfriends? Or like, was there, do you ever feel like you have to fulfill some sort of criteria that your parents have for you, either financially or successfully, you know, with your partner?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm really lucky. My parents are like so open to whoever I date, but I think they're very happy who I'm dating now, because they're like, okay, good. He's creative, but he's stable. He's not like a complete nut job. He doesn't want to live in a cabin in a woods. Like, I think what I found now is like the perfect balance. Whereas like before I was dating, like, I don't know, like if it's a pendulum, just completely off. They didn't really have much expectation of me. I think that's kind of bad. I don't know. I think because I grew up like dyslexic, and they always were like, oh, poor Tori, she's dyslexic. I think they're just like happy sometimes, like, I still have the child mentality where they're just like happy if I do anything or like have any I don't know. They're just like, but whereas my sister, they're like much more harder on her.
She's older.
She's older. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's always harder on the older child.
Do your parents do that to you about your ex-boyfriends and stuff? Like, who you dating? Who is he? Can I meet him?
They used to be much more strict at the beginning, or my mom was much more strict. Now
beginning as in like in your
like
20s?
when I was younger, she just didn't want me to date anyone.
Okay,
Oh.
yeah.
And then at some point she was also like, if you want to move out of the house, you have to get married. She was very traditional. She was very traditional. I think it's because she immigrated so many times. Her mindset is still in this like where my grandparents thought for her, like for her to move out. That's all she kind of used to be like, okay, this is what. So at some point I was like, no, fuck this. I started like dating, you know, she's much more, I think she just supports me way more now, just generally in every way and aspect. And I also think she doesn't think I'll really settle with anyone, because she's seen me in so many different relationships and not like commit to the core. That I think at some point she's just kind of like, okay, she's gonna do her thing, and then
right. Yeah, maybe
she
this
won't
comes
be
with
like
age.
I think so.
Yeah.
So do you
She
tell your
doesn't care
mom
about
your like relationships or no?
I do.
Oh, you
do. I do tell her now, because I force it on her. She's like, I don't want to hear it. I'm like, I made out with him on the first. Like,
you'll say stuff like that?
Yes, I force it on her because I want her to like. I want almost like for her to have these reactions. Like, I want her to like. I want to force it on her. I don't know.
I gotta say, that's very rare for like Asian families to be open like that. You know what I mean?
I don't know why I want
the making out shit. Do you say that?
Well, when in the beginning of our podcast, me and my mom, we would talk so much about dating that it was like part of the bit. You know what I mean? But now I don't really tell her. But yeah, when I first dated, I would tell her. But now the thing is with my boyfriend now, before I introduced them, she was like, I don't want to meet anyone until you're engaged. Like, I can't emotionally handle it.
Yeah.
But I also, does your mom do this? This is, I think, like a very Jewish thing where if I complain about something my boyfriend does, my mom defends my boyfriend rather than me.
Ooh.
Yes, my mom used to do that with my ex.
Really?
She used to be like, because if the ex is a nice, like if she knows how I am.
Right,
she knows I could
they know, our moms know how crazy we could be. My mom's like, you're not easy to handle. I mean, she's like, she'll be like, look at you. I mean, who do you think you are? Because I said, I complained once. Okay, I complained once about my mom. I complained how my boyfriend to my mom. Wait, let me get it right. I complained to my mom how sometimes my boyfriend, actually he doesn't do this anymore, but he used to like not listen to my stories, not laugh, and it used to really bother me as a comedian.
Yes.
It used to really,
I feel that so hard.
It used to really, really bother me. But I don't know, he's gotten like really much better. I don't know what changed. Maybe like we're having more sex or something. I'm not sure. But so anyway, I used to complain to my mom about it, and I'm like, my mom's like, well, who are you? You're no easy. Look at you. You're moody all the time. And I'll never forget my mom's best friend, who's like a version of my mom, another like older Jewish woman. She went to her mother when she was on her mother's deathbed, and she was like, I don't know if I want to marry this guy, and blah, blah. And the mother turned to her and she goes, let's just say her name is Susan. She goes, Susan, you're no easy day at the beach.
Oh my God.
She died?
She died and now she's with the guy, but they've been together like 40 years. So my mom always says that to me, like, I'm not easy. But then at the same time, she'll be like, you're amazing. You're a star. Like, yeah, you know, so she's very like it's strange.
Is it this? Is it because your boyfriend, is he really good to your parents?
Yes, he's so sweet.
Okay, nicer than you are sometimes, obviously. Because so I think that my mom became really close to my ex, and because he was so generous and giving to my mom.
Yeah.
And I think that made her like feel like he was a son. And so now it's like we're in competition with each other in a way for the affection from my mom or something. And in that
deep.
way,
That's
it's
deep.
Or
That's
do they
deep.
just not want us to be alone and they know how nuts and difficult we are? I think that's part of it too. Because my mom just always tells me how like crazy I am and difficult and I'm moody and I got problems and who am I? I'm not easy.
Aww.
So like, but then at the same time she'll be like, you're gorgeous. No one's like you. You look at you, a star. You're a star on Instagram. So yeah, I get like very.
You're a star on Instagram.
So I get very conflicting. Messages. One day I think I'm amazing. One day I think I'm bloated. You know.
She does tell me that anyone that loves me so much and takes care of me and is so caring, she's so grateful for, because she's not with me all the time. So
Right.
I think in that way she feels protective over me, but also protective over him, and she doesn't want me to like leave him because of that.
Yeah.
Because in some he's taking on some
Right.
of the
It's a sense of
burden.
security.
Yeah, the burden.
Like
yeah.
when I
Yeah.
broke my ankle and a boyfriend of mine was willing to literally take me into their house,
Right.
and like feed me and like not necessarily bathe me, but essentially all those
Yeah.
things. Like she went from hating this guy because he's kind of considered a fuck boy
Okay.
to like being like, wow, he's such a good person. Like
Yeah.
literally within like a few days. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I get it. I think if I had a kid, like I understand that.
Yeah, I used to say my mom is like an emotional gymnast. Like she switches emotions.
Yeah.
Especially
Doing
if, like
backflips
with
and
these
shit.
artist boyfriends I had, she'd be like, "Oh my god, he's a filmmaker. That's great. He can film you." And then like if he dumped me, she's like, "Fuck him. You're gonna be poor your whole life." So I just it gets. But I think they are mothers. You know, I think if you come from like a strong, I don't know, culture. Or,
Yes,
I think like,
yes.
they just want you to be happy, and yeah, I think they also. And just like want you to be happy and like cared for, really.
Yeah, for sure.
Because would you say in your relationships, like, are you the one who's like being taken care of more, or are you
Yes.
taking care of them?
I think I take care of their emotional needs, but other than that, I do think I'm more of the taken care of one. I'm assuming it's similar. I feel like we have similar kind of.
Yeah.
Like we need someone stable, like
Right.
more stable, because we're the ones that are like. Right?
Yeah, I mean, my boyfriend's unstable in certain ways, but he's pretty stable. Like he has like
he's more
quirks. stable.
right?
Yeah,
Or
I would say my emotions, I'm much more up and down.
Yes.
He has odd quirks, but I would
Yeah.
say I'm like all
Yeah.
over the place.
I feel like that's the way it works if you're like in the arts. It's hard to
Yeah.
date someone who is also the same crazy as you.
We
Like,
were just
Yeah.
talking about
I really
that.
think like the best matches, like in the beginning it may not seem like the best idea, but like if you're this, someone needs to be this. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So you can like bounce off of that thing.
Yeah.
But if you're both this, then it's just chaos. It's
And I
complete
think
dissonance.
like even though my boyfriend is in the arts, his career is just much more like stable. It feels
Exactly.
But so it's like almost the perfect world because he's able to understand my world, but he's also able to be the more stable emotional person. But he also says things too like, well, I don't know, I could have a bad year. You know what I mean? And then
yeah.
even though he's never had that, he's had a very easy, not easy, where he's worked very hard, a good trajectory. Whereas like I feel like comedy or other things could be like, you know.
But I think for you guys are at a place where like, let's just say he does have a bad year, but you have a great year.
Right.
Like you would financially support him if
Yeah.
if he needed that, right?
Yeah.
Like he would do for you, you know? And I think that's a
Exactly.
very hard partner to find. It's hard to want to do that for someone. Like, of course, if you have money, you can do that for someone, but to genuinely want to help someone, that's tough. That's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough, ladies.
Thank you. I feel like I'm on the ultimatum that show on Netflix.
Let's move on.
Let's move on.
I am so upset. Like, minute she walked in, I was like, you're goddamn gorgeous.
Oh my God.
And
Thank you.
this hair you have, like, it is like an aura. Like, you are like just an aura of like, I just want to like sit you here all day and I could just like stare at you.
Oh my
Like,
God. Thank you.
Not make that creepy, but
creepy.
I do love a red. I do love redheads.
Really?
What the fuck?
I'm sorry.
This is new.
I'm gonna no. All my favorite people growing up were redheads growing up. Okay.
But your best friend's Japanese. She's not a redhead. What are you fucking
I'm
talking
talking about Lindsay Lohan.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, Lindsay.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know why. What was the girl with the curly hair? She's a cartoon.
Told by Ginger?
No, Pepper Ann.
I don't know that one.
don't know
Okay,
Pepper Ann,
it's
no.
a little older. Pepper Ann.
Okay.
There's just so many. I don't know. There's a fascination. I'm
Redheads
sorry.
are cool.
They're in. They're in now.
I have the upper hand. I think like in my mid-20s, I started to realize with dating how much like of a prize I was.
Because you're the...
You don't have
There's
to be
not
a
that
bitch.
many.
You're the
There's
ethnic
not
within
that
the
many.
whites. That's what
Exactly.
it is. It's
I
like,
really am. Because I always do, like, I always had this, like, upper hand where I was like, even if the guy's exes were blonde, like, pretty, I was like, yeah, but I'm a redhead.
Yeah,
You know what I
unique.
mean?
You're automatically unique. You're always going to stand out. But
Right.
also, it's not just the color. You have so much
volume,
of this
the
hair.
volume.
And I want to know, how much are you spending on this? That is like our,
I mean,
our
we know
question.
how much
We
you
know-
spent, but yeah, in general, like...
Yeah.
Because it's part of your brand and you love it. It's your identity.
It's
Yeah.
funny. I was thinking about it on the way here, and I was like getting upset because I used to be an ambassador for this company.
Diva Curl.
Not yeah, but whatever.
Oh, really?
Oh, you can't say it?
Yeah,
Can I-
Diva Curl. Yeah,
can I
sure.
leave it out? Okay.
Oh, that's
And so
the...
I used to, when it,
yeah.
not anymore because they like had a whole rebranding and they switched. But when I was an ambassador, I would get free haircuts if I wanted to get color and free products. And I calculated it once, and I was saving like $4,000 a year.
That makes sense because in the last 3 months, you spent about $400 on your hair.
I know
Yup.
my hair's a lot.
Yeah.
Your haircuts, we looked at this. You went to a hair salon twice and you spent $200.
So you go once a month?
Within a month.
No, that's because I get this thing. Okay,
No,
so I get a
see the 8th
haircut.
and the 24th.
Yeah.
I get a
And-
haircut that's $200. But it's a haircut, and then I get this thing to make my hair redder.
What is
It's a
it?
Fake?
secret.
Oh,
it's not
secret.
fake.
It's a secret.
Okay.
It's a
It's a
secret.
secret.
Okay.
It's a secret.
You can't tell. Well, I
Is
mean,
it
I guess
natural?
It, doesn't
Is it
really
It
apply
is
to us.
natural, but I do something to enhance it. Basically.
Oh my
God.
It's a secret. I don't like saying that. I don't like saying
Oh my god,
it.
Reddit/red hair is going crazy right now.
Oh my God, I'm so curious.
I didn't tell my boyfriend for like a year and a half about it because I was like,
Did he give a shit when he told him?
no, he didn't even like know. He like didn't put it together.
Well, because
Yeah,
you're like,
I spent a lot of money on my hair. I need a
You
new
put like
ambassador.
cat blood all over it or some shit like that. Like you're
she,
just
she
like
kills a
yeah,
kitten.
yeah,
and,
yeah, like
and-
she does
and
a ritual
a Filipino
somewhere.
shaman comes out. No, but you went. It's interesting is people who go to like an expensive hair salon, they have a guy or they have a girl that they go to. But you've been to different salons, and I was wondering like what that's about. You went to Lucaro and then Rizzo Salon.
So Rizzo's where I get my haircut. That was in New York.
Okay, and you always go to that one.
Yeah.
You
Then
don't
I'll
go
go
in
to
LA.
another one called Curly World.
Wait, you go to New York for your hair? Every
when
time?
I'm there, I always get a haircut. So every like 5 months, I'll get a haircut. But I've
Oh,
never
okay.
gotten my haircut in LA because I don't trust any curly hair people.
I go to New York. I'm they're making fun of me, but I like fly to New York to
Yeah.
get my hair cut.
Yeah, a
when I
lot of
can't-
people do that.
Yeah,
People
it's
do that for color.
Yeah.
So they go like once a month to fly to New York for color.
But it's just, I mean,
It's
I guess
worth
you have
it.
family there and you do comedy there, so it's not like whatever, you know,
Yeah.
you're not just flying, but if you, I mean, if you are flying just to get your haircut, that's like over $1,000. There's like $1,000 endeavor here.
Yeah, but I think to like hair, like I mean, just for like my hair is such a part of me.
It's
Right. It's
iconic. It's,
important.
an
It's
iconic.
If I
part.
was richer, I would fly every month to get my hair. If
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
where the place was, I would do that.
Yeah.
Because I could do other things.
You know, you could travel hack with a credit card.
What do you mean?
Travel
What?
hacking, where you get credit cards and you get the points. It's called sub. So sign up bonuses,
Yeah.
and then you can fly like 2-3 times with those bonuses.
Wow.
Oh, it's
Really?
called
Yeah.
credit card churning.
Churning. What was
Churning.
I say? What?
Huh.
hacking. It's
No,
the same
it's a form of hack.
it's the same
travel
thing.
hacking.
Okay.
It's like a subreddit.
You just get it to get the points, and then you cancel the credit card before you get charged for it the next
so
year.
it's free, but
Yeah.
it's
this
some
is
work.
naughty.
I did that for Hawaiian Airlines when I wanted to go to Hawaii.
Wow,
Yeah,
but this
yeah.
is naughty. I can't do this.
But it's free.
It's legal.
It's
It's
not
totally
illegal.
legal.
It's not
Yeah.
illegal.
Huh, okay.
People forget to cancel, so they get you when the second year they'll be like, haha,
If there's
remember?
an annual
it's actually
fee.
$500 a year to have this credit card. But if you cancel
Oh.
before that, you don't have to pay and you get the benefits.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
She's not going to do it.
She's not gonna do it. It's okay.
Maybe I'll have my boyfriend set it up for me.
Well, we looked. Let's go to the unofficial analysis. We looked through
Okay.
some of your shit,
All right.
and we didn't make a deck for you. But I gotta say, overview. I always thought, and now that I'm wrong, and after I've talked to you, I've been wronged. But I always thought you were like a very like wealthy New York Jewish girl.
Yeah.
And I, obviously your family has some money, but I just thought like you were like a princess. I really thought you were like a comedy princess, like you always lived in like nicer apartments than me. And then, you were always making money doing like video editing and stuff. And I didn't know what was going on, but
He wanted to be you.
I wanted to be you. But I was looking through your credit card statements and you only spent in 3 months, you only spent like $5,700 on this credit card, which honestly is very good.
wait, is there more than
I'm going
one?
to tell you one. Yeah, here's one thing. So for a month, my mom went to North Carolina and I stayed with her for
Okay.
August.
Okay.
So from July to for 4 weeks, I went.
Okay.
So I didn't spend any money.
Right.
And she
So that's
took
why I
care of
sent
it.
you multiple credit because I didn't want you to think I was
Oh,
like
see.
cheating.
Okay.
I don't want you to think I was. So I'm saying when I was with her, I didn't spend any money besides paying my rent back in LA. But when I'm with my parents, I don't spend any money.
Sure,
I go
sure,
into
sure,
the
sure.
child mode.
And then you said your boyfriend's pretty generous. Like
Yeah, in terms of like when we go, I would say
going
like
eating or something.
eating, or like we went to Palm Springs. I had a show there, and like the first night, I guess I paid for the hotel in terms of like I took it out. I can't remember. I took it out of my money, like from what I made, and then the second night he was like, "Oh, I want to stay an extra night. Like I'll pay for us to stay an extra night." So
great.
he's like just very generous
Yeah.
in terms
Yeah.
of that stuff.
That's sweet. Yeah.
So these are your top categories. And
Let's hear.
I wonder if this is going to surprise you. So your most spending was travel.
That makes sense.
About $1,100. Second was health.
Yeah,
About $837.
yeah.
Shopping, $830. Restaurants, $730. Again, keep in mind this is 3 months. This is
Well, I guess you should 2 months maybe. You should
okay.
do.
Professional, which we'll get like professional services, $650. Beauty,
Okay.
$449.
Okay.
Groceries, $436, very low. Automotive, I think this is your car payment, maybe $300. Entertainment, $150. Gasoline, $130.
Okay.
Other $40. Your bills is only $16.
So, but I think here's the thing. I guess my rent I pay through Venmo, and then my car. I guess my expenses are pretty low because my rent is $1450, and then my car is like $480. But that's all
is it
through
really? I
Yeah,
saw
my car
payment
is
from Toyota
expensive.
for like $250
what
or
car
something.
do you
and I was
drive?
a Toyota RAV4.
Like, so that's $400 to lease it.
It's like $450. It's like really expensive.
That's really
That's you
expensive.
can
I
get a BMW,
know.
bro. That's crazy.
What?
You can get a BMW.
Oh, you didn't put any money down when you.
I think I did. I can't remember.
That seems pricey to me. But
Well,
that's a
'cause,
new one.
she
a new
got
one.
the car like during COVID.
2
when,
years ago.
Everything was fucking high.
But see, in my eyes, that's the thing with certain things I spend a lot of money on. Like, I think I could get a cheaper car, but I just like really like
you can
my
have
car.
a BMW for like
Really?
literally yes, like
Yeah, but then insurance goes up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
See, I just like I spend more like that, or like probably I can find cheaper hair, but I spend like more money that way. I'm not really like nickel
and
and
things that
diming.
you feel like you enjoy and that you it's like
Yeah.
self-care and thing. Yeah,
But
I think
for
that's
me, like it's funny when you were talking about like as a comedy princess. So when I moved out of my parents, this is very vulnerable. Whatever. When I moved out of my parents' house at 24, I got a studio apartment in Williamsburg.
I've been a couple times.
You've been.
Yeah.
And when I first started comedy, I was really embarrassed that I had this apartment because all of my friends obviously didn't have a studio apartment in Williamsburg. And so I was like really like, I guess embarrassed by it, even though I was paying, half of the rent, which I know my boyfriend comes from a different world where it's like, once you're 18, you pay your own thing. Like he's like, I was in New York once. I had to like, steal steak. And I just was like living in Williamsburg. But I'm saying like, I think even though I was like living that life, I guess I never like fully leaned into it. Like I was always like a little embarrassed by it. And I always thought like, oh, I'll never be as successful because my parents like helped me out. Like, so it was,
right.
And I'll never forget, like sometimes I would take Ubers, and our friend Katie Boyle, who like, you know, at the time like just moved from Ireland, and I like put her, and I went in this Uber once, and I was like, oh, come in the Uber with me to Brooklyn. She's like, all the way to Brooklyn? She's like, oh my God. And she like just moved from Ireland, and like Ubers were like expensive, but I like put it on my parents' card. It was like $50 from West Village to Williamsburg, and she's like, oh my God, this is amazing. We're in an Uber. Oh my God. So I just I felt like embarrassed that I could do those things. So I didn't really do it often. But again, it's not like I was living this princess lifestyle. But yes, I was. My parents set me up comfortably.
Of course. And that's, again, just to make it clear, a lot of comedians, artists, musicians in New York, when they're younger, their parents do support them. That was not my case. But we also had another friend living in that building, Brian Park,
right,
whose parents were also helping him too. Like, it's not that uncommon.
But I think also when I first started comedy, I think now it's more common, or maybe people are more like showy about it, that like they do come from money. But when we started comedy, it was like Sarah Silverman era, like no girls wearing tube tops on stage. It was like, it was cool to be poor.
Yes, that's a really good point.
And now it's not really like that, because of influencer culture.
You're allowed to just have like daddy's rich apartment on 14th Street. But before you had to kind of
now there's like rich comedians. It's cool to be a rich comedian. And back in the day,
that's interesting.
It wasn't. It was like wear a sweatshirt. Like you got to work like Postmates. You know what I mean? Like that was the life.
That was the life. Oh my, I didn't even think about that. But it's interesting. I remember back then, like, you know, our friend Randall Otis had a really nice apartment because his dad owns P.F. Chang's.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He's very, very funny. He's also a very successful TV writer. I heard Rachel Sennett had a fucking apartment in Manhattan. Now she's in movies, you know?
Right. I heard though that she lives with her parents.
Maybe her dad lived there or something like that. But like, I guess like, but I remember people would hide it a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right about people sort of owning it. I did find it weird that, you know, you have this car, but in the last 2-3 months, you spent the most on Uber, $684 on Ubers.
Really?
Yeah, what the fuck, man?
I think that was when I was in New York. I spend so much money on Ubers when I'm in New York.
Yeah,
I was there for like
$680. That's like half your rent, baby girl.
What?
That's half your rent.
What? I think it must have been when I was in New York for like 2.5 weeks. I spent so much money.
2.5 weeks, $680?
And then some of it must have been when I was like visiting my mom, which was like, I think it was mostly
visiting your mom on the Upper East Side. What do you mean?
No, she went to North Carolina for a month, and then I was taking some Ubers. But no, I think most of the Ubers were from.
Okay.
I just thought everyone took the subway.
Well, we do.
But
so does she.
You take the.
No, here's the thing. I do, but when I was in New York, my boyfriend, he's like it's so funny. He's more bougie than me sometimes, because I'm like, let's take the subway, and he's like, I can't. Like, let's take an Uber. So. I don't know. We had like weddings in Brooklyn we had to go to, and like comedy. I just was tired at night, and he was tired. But I don't know where all this Uber. We got to figure this out.
You got to figure that out. I'm not figuring out shit.
Goddamn fucking Uber.
Okay, but then
what's the medical?
And then number 2 was Lyme medical. Because you have Lyme disease.
It's so annoying. I have to pay for this.
Is that expensive, having Lyme disease?
Yes, because the government doesn't. Because the government doesn't. I think if you have any autoimmune disease, it's expensive because the government doesn't pay. Like, if you want to do alternative medicine,
which is
like,
that what you're doing?
Yeah, like going to, I don't do acupuncture, but acupuncture, or like these vitamins, they all like add up. These aren't like $10 vitamins. You're taking like $40 vitamins, and to me, like, my health is like important.
Of course, yeah. Of course.
So yeah, it like really sucks. But that's another thing with autoimmune disease people. I follow them too. And people get mad because there's like a lot of people with autoimmune diseases can obviously afford the treatment. So then people that don't have that money get mad at the wealthier people that can afford. Yeah.
Sure.
So what's happening? Why are the medications so expensive? Like with Lyme disease? Is that what it is? So what?
Well, I don't really have it anymore. I just have like my immune system was when I got it, my immune system was like compromised. So I always feel like I'm like so sensitive to like things, and I'm always like trying to like figure out like how to fix like a weird symptom I have, basically.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
Do you want to give a shout out to a sponsor? Maybe they'll give you free pills or something. I don't know.
No, I tried to email them. I literally have emailed so many like vitamin companies to be like, hey, can I like make videos for you or like in exchange? And they're like, no. But that's where all the money is. They make so much fucking money, and their social media, like all of them suck.
Right.
They don't need
life
they don't even
extension.
Need it. They don't need it. People will pay for Lyme disease.
yeah.
I think they could benefit from like a cute limey girl. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
exactly.
That's
Like,
what
get
they
your
need.
pills.
Wow.
Yeah. Did you want to ask her anything?
Walgreens spending $270 is a lot.
Oh, that's
to
a
me.
lot.
What did I-
within 3 months?
Yeah.
270.
Well, we could.
Or do you? Is that a pharmacy thing? Maybe.
No, we put Walgreens. Here.
Walgreens.
That's a lot.
I'll look
At
it up
That's
for
a
you.
lot. What the fuck did
I'll look it up for you right now.
I wonder what I spent at Walgreens.
Maybe you were in New York and you
Or
were
was it
like getting
pills?
things for the.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, could have been.
Walgreens. Here we go. Oh my god, you spent a lot of money. Okay. Like
Alcohol, probably alcohol.
June.
No, I wasn't buying out because I don't really drink.
This is all in LA, by the way. 2 in North Carolina, but those were like $10. So you probably bought like water.
Yeah,
or something.
water. Okay.
Okay. June 12th, $40.
Okay, June 12th.
June 19th, close to $40. July 4th, $80. Or did you
that's a
buy
lot.
like beer for a party or something?
No.
$81 at Walgreens?
I don't know what the hell
Are you the
spent.
CEO of Walgreens? What is happening?
Fumi is so worried for you right now. Do you see his body? His veins are popping out
Veins
as
are
he's
popping.
reading.
I think maybe I was taking antibiotics, but those are usually cheap.
It's not
But the thing
$81.
about Walgreens is I go and I just like spend a lot of money. It's one of those stores I just spend
I love
money and I don't
Walgreens.
know what I'm doing.
If you buy a couple,
Really?
I love like going to the lotions area.
Yeah.
Because I have
Wait,
eczema.
over CVS, or are you just saying specifically Walgreens? Like, do you care about which of the?
I don't care which
Rite Aid?
one. I like going through like the skincare section and like, ooh, this is a nice face wash. But you're right. If you buy like 2 little things of,
it just adds up, and then I'm getting a
100%.
magazine. I get
Yeah.
a big water.
I mean, bro, you spend that's $400. I mean,
I
that's
could have bought some nice fucking pants with that.
absolutely. We have
is
an analyst
this?
who does this for us.
Okay.
And she wanted to know what's going on with Towel of Wellness, $215. Towel of
Yeah,
Wellness.
now I want to know what this is.
Towel?
TAO of Wellness. You spent
It says
$215.
traditional Chinese medicine.
Oh, I went for acupuncture
Oh, you did?
because I was having bad cramps, so they told me to go to acupuncture.
And you went twice, and did you like it?
Then I went on birth control, and then it seemed to fix the problem.
Okay.
But that's what I'm saying. Health is
He
so
tried the Eastern, and
The Eastern didn't work. They gave her needles, and she's like, "No, I think I want medicine."
Yeah, I was like, give me the pharmacy. But I'm saying, like, health stuff fucking.
did you see these?
What?
I don't know why.
Let me
this-
see.
These guys?
No, those are the founders. I didn't have enough money for the founders. So I saw, like, the cheaper ladies. They came in. I was like, they give you, like, a button. Have you ever done acupuncture?
No, I've never done it.
No.
I'm scared. Yeah.
Yeah,
no,
I'm
I was scared
too.
to do it. They like put needles, whatever. And then I kept being like, I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm a little anxious because I was like shaking with adrenaline because I was just like nervous.
Yeah.
You're gonna stab
And then
1,000
I was like,
times.
can you stay with me? And she said, no. And then I like moved my head and I got really dizzy from the needle here. And so I pressed the emergency button. That thing's not emergency. This bitch walks in 10 minutes later. And
You got a smoothie? What'd you want?
and she knocked. If it's an emergency, I don't need you to knock. I need you to come in here. She goes, how are you? Not good. Do you not see me press the button?
I'm dying.
Wait, what?
That's so fucking.
Was it broken, or was it she just didn't give a
No,
fuck?
she didn't care.
This happens a lot, apparently. This is probably
Probably.
happened.
Yeah.
She
I
knew
thought
you were
I
going to do
wanted
this.
her to like stay there and like hold my hand,
Yeah,
but
you gotta
she,
get the founders for that.
they're probably like
They probably-
$450.
Yeah.
You can spend so much money on health stuff if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I feel like I really like watch out with what I spend, but like you could easily spend like $100,000 if you
Damn,
want
do
to.
you do that? You're always at the hospital, actually. Not hospital, but
Always at the hospital?
No. I mean, he always
Fumi.
gets checked. He goes to the doctors a lot. You get your checkups.
I do because I have very good health insurance and it's free. And
Okay.
so like I just go a lot. Whenever I have something wrong, it's like, oh, a little eczema, I'll go get some cream.
Damn.
whatever.
Interesting. So you're a little bit of a hypochondriac.
Just because I'm taking advantage of it's everything is free or
interesting.
$10, and I'm like I've just never had insurance like that before. So like
How's your liver? Remember, it was a little high.
it was a little high. It's still high. I'm supposed to be getting these blood tests so
How
they can
high is
monitor
it?
it. It's
Give me.
something called the ALT.
No, but what's the number? I can tell you if it's high. I've been to enough fucking doctors.
It's in the triple digits. It's in the hundreds.
100.
It's supposed to be
FUMI.
like 80 or 90, but mine's
Yeah.
like 120 or something like that.
Okay, it's not like thousands.
No,
Thousands is
But see,
bad.
that's the thing is my doctor was like, I've seen it in the thousands, and I'm like, then why is this being flagged? Mine's at like 150. Like, there's no scale.
Did you
right?
take the milk thistle? I told
They
you.
told me not to.
Why?
Because they're like, as UCLA, we cannot endorse like things that have not been approved by the FDA.
But
and
see,
stuff like
that's what I'm talking about. With
Herbal.
what is the difference between like Western medicine and Eastern medicine? It's like milk thistle is
well, that's
literally.
just not Asian because we're lactose. But go on.
What'd you say?
I don't think milk thistle
Well,
is Asian.
no, it's a
No,
plant. It's a
Oh, it's a
plant.
plant?
It's a
Oh,
plant.
okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
It's
It's
like a
good.
plant
It's good
over
for the liver, but it
Sounds like powdered milk or
no,
something.
detoxes the liver, but it's literally $10 on Amazon, and the fact that like a Western medicine doctor just like won't tell you to do that is so crazy to me because as I've gotten more into like holistic stuff and just watching all these like not documentaries on Netflix about opium crisis and how Western medicine is just like pushing just like, you know, pills.
Yeah.
It's so upsetting to me that they like won't even do that.
They won't even try a little plant.
In
No.
France, it's
Yeah.
the complete opposite. They're pushing more herbal medicine.
Really?
Yeah, herbal.
Really?
So like, yeah, I think as a whole country. And so if you go to the pharmacy, they'll initially first tell you to take milk thistle.
Oh my
that's so
God.
good.
The problem is they'll push that, right? But
Yeah.
like,
People
then
die.
if someone's actually like really sick,
Yeah.
you could only really get milk. They're like, no, trust me, it's
Oh,
milk
I
thistle.
see.
And so their problem is the complete
Yeah,
opposite.
they have jaundice. They're like, try this
Yeah,
plant. Try this
exactly.
mint leaf.
Try
Exactly.
some aloe on your leg. It's like,
That's a really good point of view. I know what, I'm gonna try milk thistle. I'm gonna give it a try.
Try
because I'm not gonna
it.
fucking die from it. What's the
No,
worst
you
that can
take-
happen? Nothing's gonna
one in the morning and one at night.
No, I'm so scared of going to the doctors because like I had a family of doctors, so like we would just call them. So I never went to the doctors.
But that's the same
No,
thing as going.
no, but
That's
now-
like my fantasy.
Yeah,
No,
that
A
is
Jewish
nice.
girl's fantasy to have a. My
Doctor.
dad's a dentist, but he thinks he's a doctor of everything. He just Wikipedia shit.
Well, does that mean that you went to the do you go to the dentist now as
You
much
go to
as
dad
you
for
should?
free?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. So like I feel like I should go to the doctors more now, but it almost feels like a waste of money because my insurance isn't the best.
Right.
So I only get like one free checkup, like a preventative checkup, but that's the only thing that's free. Everything else I have to
Yeah.
pay like a shit.
Of course.
My copay is like
and it's such a privilege to be like, no, you gotta go. I totally understand. But like, I also think like as you get older, I think it's
I
more
should,
important. It
right?
just, I don't know. I've just seen a lot of like younger family members like get shit, and they're like,
Really?
yeah. Just, I mean, I have a lot of cancer in my family, unfortunately.
I'm
But
sorry.
like, my aunt died when she was like, God, early 40s. It was like so tragic. And I feel like in America they really check for breast cancer and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
she
she
passed.
got- yeah, but in Japan they just don't check for it because it's not as common. Back in the day, it was 1 in 30 women had breast cancer, but in America it's 1 in 10. So it's like
That's
they
fucking
always
nuts.
check for breast cancer here, but they just didn't do that shit.
Wait,
over
that's
there.
the one thing I will do because I go get tested for STDs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that the breast checkup, that stuff,
Yeah,
I'm taken care of.
Okay,
But
that's good.
The heart,
Well, yeah,
the
I mean, that's-
liver,
yeah.
the brain,
I love how you
nothing.
pointed the liver. That's not where it is. She
This is why I
has
don't.
no idea where it is.
I gotta go. I
You
gotta
gotta
go.
go
I got a
to
doctor
you
to
gotta-
tell
yeah,
me
you
where
gotta
the
look at
hell
the
is
graph.
it's right.
I don't even know where it is either. It could be here.
I think your
really-
liver's here.
Dude, we don't
No,
know.
no, sorry. Your liver's in your back.
That's the kidneys.
Oh.
That is the kidney. See,
That's the
see,
kidney.
you guys go to the doctors. You guys
We
don't
don't
know.
know.
We don't know.
No.
Where's the heart?
Hey.
Tell me where the heart
This
is.
is a personal finance
Here.
concept. Okay?
There you go. But,
In
but
here.
you know that because of Instagram. Like I
saw a
learned-
TikTok
I saw
video
TikTok
where you can
here.
reach the liver from your ear. And
All right.
goddamn. All right.
That was fun.
That was great. I think we
Yeah.
covered it all.
we
Okay.
did.
Tori, you get a gold star.
Wow.
You
Were
get a
you
gold star.
nervous? Like, how do you feel about were you always talking about or down to talk about money, or is it like did it make you nervous to come on? Or?
I think, yeah, I was like excited because I also feel this is really stupid, but I feel like I've been trying. Okay, I've been posting these videos on Instagram where they're more like very niche to like girls who grew up like, I guess like upper middle class in New York City. I've been posting, so because I'm like, I feel like I need to like have more of an audience that's like specific to like how I am or like who I would follow. So I've been posting more of these like videos where they're not like, oh my God, I'm on a jet, just very niche things. And I've been like nervous to do it. But I was like, but that's what I want my audience to be because I feel like that's who I relate to. And that's
Upper East
videos.
Side girls.
Yeah, so I've been
Yeah.
doing these videos. So it's funny when I came on here and was like, what am I going to say? I mean, I'm pretty open. I guess I like was nervous to talk about like, I don't know, just like having a Williamsburg apartment when I was like a stand-up comedian. in my own studio. But I feel like it's just stuff that now everyone talks about.
Right.
Like
right,
now
right.
everyone's like,
It's so funny when you say that, because I just think about like, is it people who do have money, they're trying to hide? Like my girlfriend,
Yeah.
she came from like an upper middle class, but like I feel like our neighborhood was very, like our school was a very middle class like school. It was
Yeah.
public. And she would be so embarrassed about taking any sort of help from her family. And so like she's been driving and still has the same RAV4. Is that what you said you took?
Yeah.
She has a RAV4.
Really?
And she's had it since high school. And she won't give it up. That thing is breaking down.
Even though
And
she's
she-
like a millionaire at this
yeah,
point.
that's what I'm saying. But she was always worried about what other people would perceive her as
Yeah.
with the help that I think, well, not help, it's just her growing up. And she's always been that way. Like she's a bit worried about sharing that. And so now I'm like, is it people who actually don't have money who's like, you know, you hear about them like buying all these like Gucci belts
Flaunting.
and
I
that's
think so, yeah.
right?
Because I'll never
Yeah.
forget in high school, like I said, my mom had a complete shopping problem. And so she would give me her hand-me-downs again, which was like Prada, okay? And she gave me these like leather Prada shoes, and I was like 15, and I was wearing them in school. And again, my school wasn't like, it was not, people weren't wearing that. And this teacher like looked at my shoes, the environmental teacher, and he was like, "Are those Prada?" And I got like really embarrassed.
Yeah.
Ooh,
And my
yeah.
first reaction was to be like, "Well," because at the bottom of Prada shoes they have like a red line.
Yeah.
So my quick thought process was, okay, well it's red. There's a red streak, and what's red that's like more of a common store? And I go, no, they're Target.
But it says Prada on them.
They're Target.
Wow. So
I just was like,
fascinating.
Like, I don't know, I guess
Yeah.
because maybe if I grew up with like all these beyond rich kids, I would probably feel like the poor one. But I think it's better how I grew up because I don't know. I just never felt like, I know other friends that grew up like they were like the poor one and they weren't even poor. You know, their dads
Yeah,
would work in
yeah.
a bank, but like they grew up with these people that had, you know, second
I
homes
think,
and shit.
A, I think you just own whatever your situation is. B, I think your parents were like, they didn't raise you to be like a little fucking brat. You know, 'cause
No.
I've met New York City
yeah, I
rich
don't-
girl brats, and I'm like, I can't even really hang out with you. Like,
Yeah.
we're on two different planes. Like when I first came to NYU, like there are girls who are like, we'd go like clubbing and they would just get a table for like $400, and I'm like, I'm 19, I don't have $400, right? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, so I think it's fine. You should own it, you know? And also like, there's just fucking.
But I'm also not like loaded. I'm not I mean, I'm like very frugal as I've gotten older. Do you know what I
Right,
mean? Like
right.
I don't even know if I would really spend the money that my mom spends.
Yeah.
But
well,
also I
yeah.
am getting the bags from her, so
She's got a sponsor. Steffi has sponsors too. You know, it's good.
Yeah,
It's
sponsors.
Good. Well, we have, you know.
yeah, my mom's my sponsor. My angel
All right.
investor.
Tori, thank you for coming
Thank
on the
you.
podcast.
That was fun.
Is there anything you want our fans to know about? Plug your special, plug your socials, whatever
Oh
you
yeah.
want.
So my special is called Prettiest Girl at the Special School. It's on 800 Pound Gorilla, and you can follow me on my social channels at Tori Piskin, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. And if you want to listen to the podcast with my mom, it's called Got It From My Mama podcast.
Hell yeah.
I think that's everything. It's exhausting.
And just to make it clear, her special is on YouTube. It's on the 800 Pound Gorilla channel on
Yes.
YouTube. So you can search for Tori Piskin on there and you can watch it for free. Please follow us on all the socials at Cash Cuties Pod. And I'm also on there at the FUMI Abe. That's THGFUMIABE.
And I'm at Baked Goods on Instagram, BAIKEDGUDS. My website's SteffiBake.com. And you know, we want to hear from you guys. We want to hear about your spending habits. So please email us at cashcutiespodcast@gmail.com and tell us about your financial topics you'd like to hear about, and send us some voice memos. We like those instead
like
of
voice
having
memos.
it
Yeah.
in text. We want to hear from you. And
Shout out to our sound engineer, Domagoy Ivanchik, video editor, Matthias Robles, and our analyst, Holly Sandler. Thank you so much for your very hard work.
see you next week. And until then, spend your money wisely.
Or have fun. Bye.